Right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you're all there and can hear what's going on. I don't think I'll be able to go around everyone and say hello, hello, hello. But so welcome to the Complete Careers RAF bit. My name's Bruce Pettit, Flight Lieutenant Bruce Pettit. I am the outreach manager for East Midlands, East Anglia. So my role is to go around all the schools, colleges, universities, uniformed youth organisations as well, so the cadets, etc. Talking about RAF careers and various bits and pieces as well. I've also got with me Corporal Terry Maloney from Lincoln AFCO, Armed Forces Careers Office. So she'll say hello.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so I'm Corporal Terry Maloney. I've been in the RAF for 14 years. Normally as an air ground steward, but I've come over to Lincoln to have a go in the recruitment office and see kind of the different ways in how we recruit the airmen and airwomen today.
Excellent, thank you. Right, what I'm going to do is we'll talk a little bit about ourselves because that's what we like to do best as we go through the next sort of, well, I think we've got up to an hour, but it may not take long. It depends on questions, really. I've got a bit of a scope as well, so I'm going to show a few slides just to help us and as a kind of a handrail, aid memoir as we go through as well. If you wanted to ask questions as we go through, use the chat function. So whoever isn't talking, either themselves or Terry, will endeavour to answer that. There's also a few minutes towards the end as well where we can open it up to the floor, depending on how many people are here, to ask questions as well, and we'll answer all those. It doesn't really matter what it's about. We're here to answer your questions, whatever they may be. This is being recorded as well, so it's going to go out to hopefully some of the other career leaders as well. So let me see about sharing a screen. That looks like the one. Terry will nod to see that's up. Yeah. Yep. Excellent. Okay, so Confident Choice is a webinar. That's us, Bruce Pettit, Terry Maloney. So let me advance the screen, see if that works. Maybe got to press it to that. Okay, so let's go then. We've done the introductions very quickly because I know time is of the essence. So we're going to go through, as you can see there. So what we do, a little bit about the RAF, maybe dispel a few myths as to what we actually do. I'm going to talk about, and Terry will do that, I'm going to talk about some of the jobs we've got, go through the apprenticeship side of things as well as a bit on sponsorship. You may not know about some of the sponsorship roles we have. Terry's then going to jump in and talk about entry requirements. They have changed slightly, or the processes have changed slightly due to COVID. So I think it's important that we let you know what those are. And then she's going to continue, just talk about, again, some of the pros and cons. You know, it's not your ordinary job, which is our strapline at the moment, but it isn't. You know, there are some bits which the students really need to know about in order to make that informed choice, that informed decision. And that's really what we're here today to talk about. It's not a careers chat. Okay, we're not trying to get all you people in. Some of you might want to join, but it's more about just getting a little bit of information out. So when the students come to you and say, you know, tell me about the RAF, yeah, you can have a little bit more information to say, well, this is what it's like. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Okay, so the pros and cons. I will mention the RAF reserves. I think that's important. Again, you know, a lot of people use the RAF reserves as a kind of try before you buy sort of thing. Give it a go, see if they like the structure, the format, the organization, and then maybe commit to a regular career. So the RAF reserves is important. People can join from 18 as well. So I'll just throw in a few minutes on the RAF reserves because it's always something to have if people, you know, aren't going to commit. It's something they can do in addition to another job. I'll then finish off really talking about the outreach offer. So that's what we can do to help you as careers leaders in schools. I know it's a bit difficult at the moment. There are some virtual elements to it, but we do offer quite a lot of things within the employability skills arena. And I'll go through some of those as well and let you know how you can ask us to come either to the schools or do it virtually. Like I said, we've got time for questions as well. Okay, so that is that. Right, I'm going to hand over to Terry. That's just one slide, and she'll just talk about the RAF, kind of what we do, a few examples of some of the operations we've currently been on and doing, okay, and the core values of what we're up to as well. Right, let's use the right mouse. I've got two screens up. Go on, Terry.
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about who we are and what we do, really. So the Royal Air Force is the UK's aerial warfare force. It was formed on the 1st of April in 1918 and is the world's oldest independent national air force. Today, we are still defending the skies of Britain and projecting Britain's power and influence around the world. We have to be ready at any moment's notice, night or day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We also have the Quick Reaction Alert Force. They're based at RAF Lossiemouth and RAF Coningsby, and also over the Falkland Islands. That is just ready to scramble just in case there is anything in the air that we're not happy about, and that is using the state-of-the-art Eurofighter Typhoons, and that takes minutes to intercept. We're also responsible for protecting the UK's air and space capabilities against cyber attacks. The RAF works with partners around the world to strengthen national and international security and to protect the interests and influence of the UK and our allies. We identify and manage threats before they materialise through intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. And we are ready to deliver urgent assistance in the likes of floods in the UK, the Ebola outbreak in Africa, and devastating hurricanes over in the Caribbean. I was actually on one of those, going over to the Caribbean and just taking out a lot of people to go over and help. And we did it very well in quick response as well. So that's a little bit about us, and then going into our core values. So as you can see on the screen, respect, integrity, service and excellence. So these are our core values. So respect is not just about respect for others, but it's our self-respect as well. So we encourage an environment of high personal standards, teamwork and professionalism. And we also want to behave in ways that bring credit to themselves or ourselves, our team and the Royal Air Force. We need to make sure that we have that mutual respect with others, depending on the rank. So going up the chain, down the chain, over with our peers, civilians, anyone, contractors, anyone that we work with, that respect needs to be there. And irrespective of our rank, every person that we engage with has the right to be treated as equal. Each one of us has a responsibility to ensure people around us feel welcome and included. With integrity then, so that comes down to moral courage, honesty and justice. So moral courage is about doing the right thing, even though it might be unpopular or dangerous and the personal cost might be high. Honesty is integral to the Royal Air Force, because as members of the Royal Air Force, we must never be in doubt, dishonest, or breach of trust to show a lack of integrity, which could actually call in question our reliability. Service then. So service is about physical and mental courage, loyalty, commitment and teamwork. So from the moment we attest or commission, we are committed to an unswerving loyalty to defend, uphold and preserve the Crown. Teamwork as well means that working effectively with every member of our service, with the Army and the Royal Navy, civil servants, contractors and the public and our allies. And then excellence then. So personal excellence, every member of the Royal Air Force has a personal responsibility to themselves and their team to achieve and maintain the highest professionalism and personal standards. We must make every effort to stay in good physical, mental and spiritual condition, not just for our own health and well-being, but so that we are ready for any more challenging operational duties. And pride is justifiable confidence in oneself and in the Royal Air Force based on heritage, achievements and our ethos. Pride breeds excellence. So that's just a bit about our core values. Something that I did want to mention as well, and is such a huge conversation at the moment, is diversity and inclusion. I have been made aware today that the RAF is starting to promote the use of gender neutral pronouns to encourage the inclusion and diversity across the service. So I'm going to read a bit more into that, but that's great to hear that that's been used now. So diversity and inclusion, we as a defence want to develop a more inclusive culture and a more diverse workforce at all levels. We see diversity as the way in which we all differ, including but not limited to our race, ethnicity, religion, beliefs, physical attributes, disabilities, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic background, life experiences, including marriage, civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, skills, and the way we think and do things. With inclusion then, so that's the action of embracing these differences. Inclusion is about valuing and harnessing people's unique backgrounds, talents, perspectives, and insights for the benefit of the individuals and the organisation.
Super. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, it's important as well just to say that we're not playing lip service to this. We got senior officers who are very, very keen to ensure this happens. It's not just throwing words and saying this is what we do. You know, we are actually doing this. We get rid of people. We sack people who don't uphold these standards of RISE and the diversity inclusion side of things. And an important one, which is really good, and some of the parents like this as well, is compulsory drug testing. So all 3 services have compulsory drug testing. You know, they can turn up on a station completely unannounced and then sample a whole group of people who don't leave until they've been sampled. So if your name's on the list, you ain't going nowhere. And again, you know, if people have been proved to take drugs and they're found guilty, then they like to be out because drugs is not compatible with armed service at all. So again, that's quite reassuring for some parents as well, that they know their children are going to be in a kind of safe environment that does test them and make sure that these things don't happen. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to talk about jobs then. That's my bit. You know, the important thing is we are open for business. You know, COVID has affected us in terms of processes and everything else, and there's been some delays in the way we do things, but ultimately we are recruiting all jobs. You know, some are in more demand than others. Some are priority trades and priority branches, so they'll get pushed through quicker. Others, such as pilot, you know, we do have an awful lot of people wanting to be pilots, and therefore, you know, as of last week, we're not accepting any more pilots until the middle of next year. You know, we've hit our quota on those. But a lot of the other branches and trades, we are recruiting and getting people through very, very quickly. There's about 55 different jobs in the Air Force, trades and branches. Trades are kind of the airmen ones, branches are what officers do. And I'm going to go through a few of those, not every single one, you'll be pleased to hear, but there's a couple of slides which just highlight what we've got. Officer roles, like I've mentioned, so they generally, in terms of qualifications, require A-levels and or degrees. Majority just A-levels, to be fair. The degree ones are the medical officer, physios, dental officer, nursing officer, and legal, as you'd expect. All the others you can join from 18 with A-levels. We like people to come in at 18. We like people to come in with degrees. We like to take airmen, airwomen who have come up through the ranks as well. So it gives us that nice broad brush of the population. It'd be terrible having all graduates. It'd be terrible having all 18-year-olds. Okay, so having that nice mix really makes for a good, diverse officer cadre. The officer role is very much the leadership, the management side of things, taking that responsibility. And as you can see, a wide, diverse number of jobs there. Pilot is only about 5% of the whole Air Force. Okay, the controller side of things is vital. Lots of medical jobs. Engineering requires a degree, engineering officer, either a aerosystems type degree or a communications IT related degree. So that's the officer jobs. We have, of course, senior NCO, senior non-commissioned officer roles. So these are sergeants or acting sergeants. So they come in and go through the fast track process. So air operations, so that's air traffic control in old money. We just changed the names to confuse people. Weapons systems operators. These are the guys in the back, guys and girls in the back of the aircraft, either doing load master, door gunner, radar controllers, that sort of role in a lot of our aircraft. Some of them don't operate weapons, but weapon system operator is the term. And then we've got weapon system operator linguist. Okay, so that's the guys who are and girls who are listening to the bad guys. So they are trained by the RAF in various languages, Russian, some of the Arabic dialects, Farsi, Pashto. Chinese is going to be one that's going to come on the cards fairly soon. Okay, so they do a fast track to get up to sergeant straight away. Great little job. And then the ground trades. Again, you can see those, and those who've seen this on record can see those. Lots of different jobs, various qualifications to get in, from 0, so RF regiment gunner, chef, mover, supply, requires 0 GCSEs. It's more about the person, and Terry's going to talk more about that in a bit. Other trades there, so some of the engineering ones on the right-hand side, clearly require a little bit more in terms of academic qualifications. There's only 3 GCSEs, maths, English, and science at grade or level 4, so C in old money, but 4 and above. Okay, so an awful lot of jobs. Important to mention apprenticeships. We are outstanding with Ofsted for our apprenticeship offer, as it were. So there are 23 apprenticeship roles. So those trades you just saw, from those, 23 of those are apprenticeships. So the guys and girls coming through will get a level 2 or 3 in their relevant subject for their course. We've also got degree level or foundation degree level apprenticeships. So the cyberspace communication specialist, the one you saw there, once the M and their women have gone through their basic training, they can then, once they're in trade, can then apply to go through and get a foundation degree paid for by the Air Force. Okay, that's a really, really good one. So as you can see there, 23 of those roles, professional qualifications, all recognised in the civilian world. Outstanding Ofsted. And the difference with us is, the pay they get while they're going through is great. It's a guaranteed job at the end of it. A lot of apprentice roles out there, or apprentice positions out there, the guys and girls get the apprenticeship, but there's no guarantee they're going to get the job at the end of it. We will guarantee a job for 12 years minimum. Okay, they don't have to stay for that long, but the offer to them is 12 years. And as it says at the bottom of that list, transferable skills, highly recognised, highly regarded skills, not just the actual professional qualification, but the other things they get out, the other transferable skills, the leadership, the teamwork, the management, the discipline, all that good stuff. And finally, on the job side of things, sponsorship. It's not a huge amount of sponsorship, but it's great for those that want to go down the roles of medical, as in doctor and nurse and engineering. Okay, so for medical, so somebody who wants to go through medical school can get sponsorship through the RAF for the whole thing. For the first couple of years is through the University Air Squadron, and then from year 3 onwards, and it's done that way because medical school has a high dropout rate, so we're not going to throw money at them until we know they're like to do at least pass the course. We pay for them, it's about £15,000 for those final 2 years, and then their foundation years 1 and 2, £30,000 a year. So they're basically being paid as a junior officer. Nursing, we have a student nurse scheme where we'll pay for the full 3-year training course at Queen's Medical Centre in Birmingham. Okay, and that's again guaranteed job. And for engineers, we offer a thing called DETAS. It's going to change slightly, but DETAS is a Defence Technical Undergraduate Scheme where once they get to university doing a recognised engineering degree, we will pay, it's about £6,500 a year and a guaranteed place at Cranwell at the end of it. So some really good sponsorship deals there. Right, Terry, back to you. The application process and where things have changed slightly due to COVID. If you could just fill guys in on that, please.
Yeah, definitely. So this one's as an officer then. So if anyone does want to apply as an officer, what they do is first of all apply online. And what happens there is they go to a place called the Virtual AFCO. The Virtual AFCO will have a look to see if you meet any of all the requirements to actually join. So whether that be education, and just make sure that you're good to go. And once you are, you get handed off to the nearest AFCO to your address. They will then invite you in for, or normally a presentation, but due to COVID, that's getting sent online now. So we send that and lots of documents for you to fill in. And then depending on what role you want, so if you're going for things like pilot, whiz up, you get sent over to RAF Cranwell to sit a computer-based aptitude test. That's just to see if you're eligible for that role. And then once you get your results back, you come back and you have your filter interview. Now, if you don't have a aptitude test role, you go straight into your filter interview. It's usually about an hour long. It's quite intense. You need to know a lot of your RAF knowledge, current affairs, things like that. So definitely, if you ever do want to apply as an officer, have a look to see what is needed of you, but then the presentation should help with that as well. Once you pass your filter interview, you'll then have your health assessment. So normally this is just one, but due to COVID, what we're going to have to do now is split them. So you have a telephone call first. They'll make sure that everything is okay with your answers. And if there's any further information at that point, they'll just request that from your doctor. And if you're good to go with that one, then they'll have a face-to-face with the doctor. And then they'll go through all your history, making sure that you are fit and ready to join the Air Force. And once you pass your medical assessment, you then go for your pre-joining fitness test. So your pre-joining fitness test then, depending on age and gender, it goes with the amount of time it takes to do a 1.5 mile press-ups and sit-ups. Past that, and then you will get recommended for OESC. That's over at Cranwell. Get recommended for at OESC, and then you go for your initial officer training. And then for the ground trades then, so it's very similar. So you'll apply online, go through the virtual AFCO again, come to us, and what we'll do is we'll send a link for the presentation or your documents, but then you'll come in to the office for a selection test. So this is your aptitude test as a ground trade. It's all been digitized now, so it's all on your iPad, and what you do is you get 3 attempts at this. So your first attempt at your chosen trade, and then if you don't pass, then we ask you to come back in usually around 28 days. If you don't pass that one, then we do ask you, you have to wait a year. So as long as you pass the first time, that way we get you to have an interview, and this at the moment is over video call. If you don't pass first time, we do get you back, and it's called an AST2, so it's a little bit different, but we talk you through it on the day anyway. So interview stage then, so it's not as intense as the officer interview. The interview comes in 2 parts. So the first part's all about the individual who's applying. So if you're kind of a school age, it'll be about anything that you've done at school. And if you're if you're working at the moment, then it'll be kind of the last 5 years of your jobs, and the last 2 jobs if you've moved around a bit. Then the second half is all about the Air Force. We want to know why you want to join. We want to know if you actually know what you're getting yourself in for. So training at RAF Halton, training for your specialised training, things like that. If you pass an interview, then what will happen is you will have your health assessment. So again, you'll have the 2 parts, phone call and then face-to-face. And then a fitness test if you're not on certain roles. So with regiment and I'm trying to think of the other one, Bruce.
What's that one? PED?
Regiment, yeah, that's the one, PTI. So if you are going for regiment PTI, you actually skip the fitness test with us. You go straight to specialist training and you do a fitness test, which is a lot more intensive with them. And that will be at your specialist interview. The biggest failure rate at the moment with us is the fitness test. So I think on applying, if anyone is watching this and does want to apply, start having a look at your fitness. It is a 1.5 mile run in a certain amount of time, depending on age, and you press ups and sit ups. Right from the time you apply, that's when you should really start looking into your fitness. PRFV then, so that's the pre-recruit familiarization visit. That's not happening at the moment. So due to COVID, that's been cancelled. Depending on how long this pandemic lasts for, that probably will be cancelled for some time. So what we're asking for now is once you pass all of the different tests, you'll go straight to BRTC, which is your basic recruit training course. And you'll do a fitness test again there, but then this is a bleep test. And you can find out more about the bleep test online. And then as long as you pass the fitness test at RAF Halton, that's when you'll enter service.
Excellent, thank you. I was a little bit distracted there. My lad's just come back. He's passed his driving test. So waving through the window and everything else. So I was a little bit, that's good. That saved me a few quid first time. So that'll be a bottle of champagne. Thank you. You can see that, yeah, it's quite a convoluted and lengthy process. There's a reason for that. We need to make sure that people joining the Air Force have gone through all this fairly rigorous selection process. Some of the things we're asking them to do when they join, are fairly difficult, physically difficult, mentally challenging, and some of the places we ask people to go are fairly nasty. So we just need to make sure. The reason is, our pass rate once they get to training is around about 95%. Unless somebody gets injured, we tend to make sure that once they've gone through selection process, they do pass at the end of it. So it makes sense for us to spend a little bit more time and effort at this stage, and then ensure people pass when they go through the training. Otherwise, it's lengthy, it's expensive, and it's not good for the individuals. Okay, if they're not, deemed selectable. Okay,
and what I will
to put them
say
through.
with that as well is we're here to help you. So at the ACO, if you do, struggle with some of this terminology, or if you are worried about any filter interviews or section interviews that are coming out, just speak to us at the AFCO. We're very welcoming. We love questions anyway, so we're always there for you.
Brilliant. I think this personal qualities bit's been covered, as Terry mentioned. This comes out during the interview for airmen and for officers, and also when the officers go through their officer and airman selection centre. That's the OASC that was mentioned at Cranwell, a day and a bit at Cranwell. That's where all that stuff comes out, and all the practical exercises and various other exercises bring all these out. Okay, so we won't labour on those. These are very similar, to be fair, to every other job that the students are going to be going for, apart from maybe the fitness side of things. Okay, not many other jobs require a fitness test, but everything else is exactly as other companies want from an individual. So we're not doing anything different. All those things are required, and it's important that the students, as career leaders, you're telling them this, start making notes as to how they can demonstrate that they are good at working in a team. Not just saying I can work in a team. It's give us an example of where you've done it. Give me an example of where you've shown good communication skills. Give me an example of where you've shown leadership and self-confidence. Okay, so the more examples they can do from D&V and school council and organising the prom, football team, cricket team, netball team, whatever it is, scouts, guides, air cadets, army cadets, lots of things out there where they can demonstrate these qualities. That was mentioned. Fitness test was mentioned. Fitness assessment. I will mention as well, that's where people are failing, both for officers and the trades. Okay, the fitness test is where people are coming a cropper. Whether it's lack of fitness or lack of PE at schools, I don't know what it is. But that's something that individuals have responsibility for and can, medical, they can't do anything about. Other things they may not be able to do anything about, but fitness, they know what their standards are. Okay, so it's really up to the individuals to get to those standards. It's no surprise. We tell you what we need. Okay, we tell you how to do it, and we can even offer is it a 12-week fitness plan? I can send a link out to that. That's a really good fitness plan. Okay, that's a bit of a sad map. Those are the two training bases. Cranwell, you all know about. RF Halton down at Aylesbury for airman training. Right, Terry, back to you.
Yeah, so in the RAF, there are some different challenges. These are for everyone as well. So in the interview, I will ask, what challenges do you think there will be? And a lot of people do talk about being away from home because especially if you're leaving school, a lot of people haven't been away from home. Now, all I can say with that is whenever you get to Halton, everyone is pretty much in the same boat. So you are going to be away from home, but everyone's there to get everyone through it. And I think that gives you such a great bond already. And, there's so many people in your course that you'll, make friends. And it's one of these that you'll make friends for life. So you will be away from home, but actually you start on a completely new journey, which is an exciting one as well. And deployments can sound really, really scary at sometimes, but they're not all scary. They are quite fun. There's a lot of adventurous training that goes with them. So I was deployed out in the Middle East, and the amount of stuff that I got done over there, sand bashing and the go-karts and everything like that. It's fantastic, and we really do try and make it as enjoyable as possible. Discipline's a tricky one because I was 16 when I joined, straight out of school, and discipline was probably the hardest thing for me because being told, to do everything the same as everyone else, I found it really difficult, but it was also a really great thing to overcome, and at the end of it, I could see how proud my mum and dad were when they were watching me at my pass out parade and seeing that discipline that I had. So again, it is a challenge, but it's definitely a challenge that is rewards and when you do overcome it. Additional duties, so you could land yourself on guard. gate guard, which you take turns with a group of individuals to basically keep the camp that you are on secure. We all have to do it. But again, you're meeting people from different trades and different backgrounds, and it's one of those where you can meet friends and, well, again, friends for life. Security is a tricky one because from the moment that you join the Air Force or any military, you have to be aware of security. You know, there are people who don't really like what we do. So things, and I always used to say this on the presentation when you used to come to the AFCO, was things like putting your whereabouts on Facebook and things like that is something that we just don't do. And that's just to keep you secure and us secure. And people, if you are about to do something, you know, go on tour somewhere, then we don't really need to tell the world where we're going and what we're doing. So security is something that we definitely need to really be mindful of. Yeah. Do you want me to go with this one?
Yeah, if you want to, just pick a few.
Pick a few. Okay. Well, I want to talk about sports and fitness because it's one of the big things in the Royal Air Force is we love to promote our sports and fitness. If there's a sport that you enjoy, then it's pretty much going to be available for you to do, and this is something that you will be paid to do, and you'll actually take time out of work to do it, still being paid. And sometimes the Air Force will even throw money at you to do it. Now, an example for me, so since being in, I've done snowboarding, I've done sailing, I've done a lot of adventurous training, but I did a couple of years ago, 2018, I did Olympic luge, and this was at the same time as when the Winter Olympics came on, and it was pretty scary to think that I was ever going to do anything like that because I'm a scaredy cat. And the thought of throwing myself on a metal tray down an ice slope at 100 kilometers an hour was terrifying, but I did it. I came over, you know, got over my fear and absolutely loved it. And the Air Force paid pretty much everything. And it's something that's such an expensive sport that you don't tend to be allowed to do it kind of in, you know, other organizations because they won't put the money in. But the Air Force definitely love sport and love the winter sports, and that's again with like bobsleigh and skeleton. Travel opportunities. So coming from me, I'm an air ground steward by trade, and I've traveled the world. I've traveled everywhere. Now, if you want to go somewhere, so again, linking it with sport, if you play golf and you decide actually there's a really good golf course out in Spain or somewhere, then you can organize a trip to go out to Spain to play golf and things like that. But yeah, I've traveled probably over 30 different countries whilst being in the Air Force. And there's always something there for you to jump on, if whether it's sport, fitness, adventurous training, or actually with the job. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm going to just mention a few of the others. You know, one of the things we are very keen to get involved in and to contribute to is social mobility. Yeah, Lincoln's not too bad, but something that sort of further reaches of Lincolnshire and some of the areas we are also doing our recruiting in East Anglia and the likes. Yeah, it's sometimes very difficult for the students and kids to break away from what their parents did. They don't feel they should, they could, whatever it is. So we're trying to sort of break that down and give people the opportunity to get out there, to, you know, make a decent living, to travel the world at our expense, and to get skills and education, everything else. So, you know, it's a really good. I'm not just saying this because I'm a recruiter. Yeah, I've benefited. My wife and family have benefited from the support that the RF offers when we're away. Yeah, I've been all around the world as well, operations and adventure training and travel. Yeah, and it's the wives and husbands and families that are left behind when we're having a great time. And so there's a really good welfare support system in place to look after them, to make sure that they're coping well. there's some fantastic opportunities in the training side of things and education. You get money every year to spend on additional GCSEs or whatever it might be. Once people have been in for 4 years, they get £3,000. After 8 years, that goes up to £6,000 to spend on higher level courses, be that degree, foundation degree, masters, whatever it might be. So there's some really good opportunities to, to increase your educational qualifications again at our expense. And living accommodation, or living and accommodation, it's reasonably cheap. It's £300 odd a month for accommodation, and it's decent quality now. It's not the old 10-man rooms anymore. It's individual rooms, student type accommodation. So they have a kind of a communal living area, kitchen, everything else. But the guys and girls have got big rooms, all Wi-Fi connected, good quality, all en suite. It's really good. And you don't have to stay in the block. You don't have to stay on a base. Once you've been in a couple of years, then you can get out and buy in the local area. And we encourage that as well. So there's money available to help with the deposit. Okay, so lots of pros, hopefully more than cons. Right, moving on then. Pay was one of those boxes, as you can see there. So for airmen and airwomen, the ground trades, from day one, they're on £15,670. It's probably gone up since this slide was done. So that's from day one. After phase 2 training, so it could be within a year, at the very most within a couple of years. If it's the technical side of things, they're going to be on 20,000 plus. Again, with little to spend it on, apart from a bid for accommodation and food. The rest is all on them. Big telly, flash car. You can see at the bottom there, pension non-contributory. So the pension is actually taken out at source. I didn't even see that. For officers and senior NCO, airmen air crew, pretty much the same. So starting salary around about £28,000, going up to 31 plus. And then those going down the aircrew route are going to get what they call flying retention money. Flying pay, it's called, but it's actually a retention pay to try and keep them in, to stop them going to the airlines. That can be an extra £100 a day. Okay, so pay, you're not going to be millionaires, but it's decent. I did say at the very beginning then, I'll talk about reserves. As you can see there, they're dotted around the country. Okay, quite a few around the Lincolnshire area, Mornington, Cranwell, Wittering a little bit further south. Okay, and the whole idea of the reserves is to sort of augment, to supplement the regular RAF on operations, deployments, UK-based work as well. So it's what we call backfill in some cases, but often it's actually working alongside. We talk about this one team business, whole force concept. So reserves work alongside the regulars, and they don't have a badge saying I'm a reservist, so they fit in hopefully seamlessly and crack on and do that. The commitment is a minimum of 27 days. So it's not huge. There's a few things you have to do in terms of fitness, medical, everything else. All that can be found online. The reason I'm mentioning it is that anyone can join with a reasonable level of fitness, medical. The bases around here that can be done. In intelligence reserves, there's the RF regiment side of things. There's various logistics ones down at Wittering. Okay, it's not a huge commitment, and you can actually, you get paid for every training day you do. So in a nutshell, there it is, 18 to 54. Even longer if you had previous military service. Minimum of 27 days a year. That includes a 2-week. There's got to be a 2-week camp where you do your continuation training in order to get your bounty. Okay, and that bounty varies depending on how long you've been in, up to nearly £2,000 in addition to the pay you get. Okay, so I'll mention that again. It's on the careers website if anyone is interested. And this try before you buy is a really good way of sort of testing the water, toeing the water to see whether the military or the RAF is a career for the guys and girls. Okay, try the reserves for a couple of years first. Okay, that is that one. Right, outreach, what can we offer you then? So my team, our job is to go around the schools, colleges, universities to offer this kind of stuff that you can see on there. Pre-lockdown, we were going out and doing an awful lot of personal development training. So that's teamwork, leadership, trust exercises from years 9 upwards. Okay, in groups of up to 20, 30 people, very good for a new cohort starting. So at the beginning of the year, or if cohorts changed, just to put those sort of team working, trust, communication skills in. Okay, we do the standard stuff. We do the careers fair, so we'll come out to your school. Okay, if it's a careers fair, if it's a specialist one, it could be a military one, it could be an engineering, a STEM-based one. We've got lots of STEM advisors. We've got some STEM ambassadors. We've got lots of kit which we can demonstrate and show. Careers presentations, taking what we're doing now to the individuals, okay, to give them a little bit more detail about what a life in the RF is all about and the opportunity to ask questions as well. In terms of employability skills, this is where we can tick some of the Gatsby benchmarks, which is all good. Interview skills, so we can do interview skills training. We can act as interviewers as well, but also get some things across. It's the kind of thing myself and Terry are doing day in, day out. We know what people are looking for. We know what the pitfalls are. We know where people are struggling, and to get that information across. Okay, especially now it's kind of functional. You've got to give examples of where you've done this teamwork, this leadership, this everything else. Okay, one-to-ones. So we can come in virtually, whatever it is, and do one-to-ones with individuals, give them a little bit more information about the RAF, what they let themselves in for. And then once lockdown finishes, we've got some activities. One of them is called Operation X, which is an interactive web app-based. So they've got iPads, a sort of skills map, and they have to work in teams to do a fictional humanitarian aid type scenario. So they act as either engineers or medical people or pilots or whatever it might be. They've all got tasks to do. They've got to work together and solve problems and everything else. And again, it's been worked with the curriculum. So there's maths in there, there's communication skills in there, there's team working skills in there, there's confidence building and everything else. So we can offer all that. And I'll certainly get my details to you. Most of it we can do virtually still. Operation X is a bit tricky, but everything else we can do virtually. And that, I think, is that. On there is all the details. So the website, mod.co.uk, the recruitment one, just type in RF recruitment, you'll get that. We are on social media and we do quite a lot on that. So the Facebook, Twitters and everything else, Instagram. There's a whole load of stuff on YouTube and I can send links to those. So if you're doing a careers event, I know the students are probably getting a bit fed up with the virtual stuff now, but we can show them some of the latest information. And it's easy to on YouTube. There's some sort of talking head stuff as well from youngsters who have actually gone through, not old people like me, but people who've actually just done their apprenticeships, so can talk a little bit more authority on what basic training is like these days. Okay, that is it. Terry, have you got anything to add at all?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if anyone ever does want to go through the process and is a little bit worried about what what the process is or what they need to be doing, then we're completely I'm fine to either have a chat with the individual or I am happy to go to schools once schools are allowing us back in, because I can have a chat with the students, and I'm always available for careers chats as well. So I love getting out to the schools anyway. It's just a shame that we can't at the moment. So if I have to do that virtually, then that's fine. But yeah, we're here for you. We always are, and we always will be. Yeah, so if anyone ever does need that assistance, then just give us a shout.
Brilliant. Thanks, Terry. Just a look on the chat there. So Richard, the statistics available, ratio of applicants to recruits for each trade job. That's quite difficult. We could break that down and get that to you, but let me give an example. So pilots, I mentioned at the very start, we probably get about 2,000 applicants for, wanting to be a pilot. Last year, or this current financial year, I think we've got about 70 or 80 positions for pilot. So we lose quite a few of those down the way in terms of eligibility and medical and fitness and qualifications, everything else. And then the rest is down to the selection process. The CBAT, the computer-based aptitude test that Terry mentioned, that has got a 50% pass rate or failure rate, whichever way you want to do it. And then they go from there, they go through the actual kind of leadership officer type applications. The CBAT is the one that, that's been designed by our educational psychologists, now psychologists. That's your hand-eye foot coordination, it's your mental maths, it's your spatial awareness, it's your memory test and everything else. And it's an awful lot of stuff thrown at them, and people go out with their hair on fire. But those that pass generally go on and do very well afterwards. The other end of the spectrum, trades that we are struggling to recruit. Well, in fact, branches for officers, engineering officer, we're struggling for. Logistics officer, we're struggling for. And for the trade side of things, Terry, you're probably better placed. Chef always. What else is we struggling to fill at the moment?
Usually it's most of the logistics. So it's actually the jobs that don't require any GCSEs for as well. So I think a lot of people don't actually know the fact that we will employ people without GCSEs. So a lot of those trades, you know, they are open to people. And the other one is the air and space operations specialist, so flight ops. We're crying out for flight ops at the moment. And regiment gunner, we're always looking for regiment gunners, and obviously that's been open to female as well, so anyone can be a regiment gunner and we encourage it. And if anyone ever does, you know, females, if you ever do want to talk to someone who has gone through the process, then we can get you into contact with someone who's at RAF Hollington and has gone through the process. I think that's it for the major priorities.
Yeah, we were struggling with CCS, so the cyberspace communication specialist. Used to be called ICT specialist. They changed the name to kind of sex it up a little bit. That's the one, you know, which they're dealing with fiber optics, with data links, with satellite communication, radar communication. In fact, all our communications. We were struggling to kind of get that balance of somebody who was a little bit geeky with somebody who was able to pass, you know, the fitness test and the medical side of things and actually, you know, fit into a team. The two were sort of clashing a bit. So we threw some money at that £5,000 golden handshake, and now the ability to do this foundation degree. And you know, so that is still available, and that's a really good opportunity. So they can get a degree without going to university, without getting the debt. Yeah, and a degree in cyber communications or something like that, which opens up fantastic opportunities once they finish in the Air Force. You know, we're talking six-figure sums if somebody gets involved in cyber security, you know, for a company. So yeah, we don't want people to leave, but we expect them to leave at some point. So we want to prepare them when they do go, you know, to be fully able to go into the world of work, you know, outside the military. Yeah, but the others are the standard: the driver, the chef, RF regiment gunner. Hopefully that answers that question.
What I will say about the education side of it as well. So as I did mention, some trades you don't need any GCSEs for. Just a little bit of a background about me. I actually joined when I was 16 without GCSEs. So throughout my career, I've gone on to gain my GCSEs funded by the Air Force. I've then gone on to diplomas, again funded by the Air Force, or depending on what scheme we've got with the local colleges and stuff. And I'm currently doing a degree now in business management, which is 80% funded by the Air Force. So they've thrown a load of money at me, and I'm able to do that from someone who didn't have any GCSEs. I'm now hopefully will be gaining a degree by next September. So there's lots of different things that you can do as long as you want to help yourself. The Air Force is there to help you, and they will throw so much money at you to develop you personally and professionally. Education's a massive one, and it really looks good on you as well, so it helps with promotion and things like that. So definitely education's huge in the Air Force, and we really want you to use what we've got. So if you do want to, you know, develop your skills further, then just ask the question. We have learning centres on every single station that you can go to and speak to, and then they'll tell you what you can and can't do.
Staggeringly, only 15% of people take up these learning credits every year. So that's £275 a year for GCSEs, and then the £3,000 or £6,000, yeah, 15% take up. I think if everyone did it, the RF would bust. But you know, that's I've used mine. Terry's used hers. You know, I did an art GCSE. I did the Prince 2 project management. I managed to get my motorcycle license done through that. I've just done Spanish. In fact, last year until lockdown, I was this year. In fact, at Lincoln College doing Spanish. Then lockdown hit. So again, RF paying for that. So it's there. Any other questions at all? Either by message or someone raise a hand? Nope. Great. Like I said, this will be available. It's being recorded, so it'll be available out there. I'll leave my details either through Alex or other means. You probably got, most of you know the RF. You know we come and see you anyway, but I'll give my details for Alex, and you know, if you do need us to come virtually for now, but then hopefully physically in the new year, touch wood, we'd love to do that. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for your time, and have a good evening.